Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pendulum Friday here at Soulprint. I'm so happy that you're here and you're, of all the places you could hang out for half an hour, that you're choosing to hang out here. So I'm very grateful for that. So I just want to say quickly, I do appreciate all of the incredible healing energy that was sent my way over my finger. My finger is doing much, much better. The stitches have come out. We're just keeping it protected for a little while still. But it did really good. So, but I have to ask a favor of all of you amazing people. I fell yesterday and I hurt, well, my hip, but worse, I've cracked a rib. So, maybe you could just send me some more of that lovely energy. I would appreciate it. Okay. Um, Let us get started, shall we? Uh, First question. Okay, it's ready to talk. All right, here we go. Will Pierre Poilievre lose his seat in Parliament? I don't know. Here in Alberta now, there is talk about separation from Canada. Will that happen? No. Danielle Smith's talking about separating. She's talking about pulling all of our pension money away from the federal government and putting it into the accounts of the Alberta government. Like, I think not. But no, there's no way a separation is going to happen. Um, will there be any military stationed or called in for any of these protests? No. Mm-mm. Will the AARP and other groups organized against Trump and the GOP? I actually think the AARP, I just saw a little segment somewhere on them, but they are um, anti-Trump. Okay, Bella, let's ask the question. Will the AARP and other groups organize against Trump and the GOP? Yes. Will the treasure of Oak Island be found? Oak Island is in Nova Scotia, Canada. Google says the mystery is over. Unexplained objects found and stores of buried treasure, all by word of mouth. Stories date back to the 18th century. Okay, am I asking will it be found, or am I asking first if it exists? Let's do that. Is there treasure um, at Oak Island, Nova Scotia? Is there a treasure there? That's a yes. Will it be found? That's a yes. Um, I'm just going to ask one more question. And will that happen within the next 5 years? That's a no. All right. Is Putin alive? Yes, he is. He's very much alive. Some say he has body doubles. If he died, how would we know? All right, so let's just break that down. Does Putin have at least one body double? Yes. If he died, how would we know? Okay, well, not yes or no. I think it couldn't be kept quiet. I think it's just the bottom line there. It just could not be kept quiet enough long enough. So, okay, next question. And I'll just take a moment here and say this is for entertainment purposes only and allegedly on any behaviors or actions. Here we go. Are Trump and Laura Loomer having an affair? No. And how about with Bettina Anderson? I don't even know who that is. Bettina Anderson. And that's a no. I think when it comes to those kinds of activities, I think maybe his talk is bigger than um it's just um I think that his sex drive is low enough that that's probably not his primary concern, but he likes to give the illusion and the impression that he is still the stud he was at 25. But for those two right now, nope. I really know deep down that Vice President Kamala Harris should be president right now. When we find out how they rigged the election, is it possible if all Americans that care rise up and say we want Kamala Harris to be our president, would that be possible? Right. Joyce has rephrased this question for me, so it's not to worry. She did a really nice job. So from all of that, so now the question we're going to ask: if it is proven that Kamala Harris won the election in 2024, will Americans try to overthrow the Trump fascist government? That's a yes. One would hope that they'd find a way to get him out without it becoming sort of this attempt to overthrow the presidency. Will the Trump administration be dismantled by June of this year? No. Okay. Why does Trump really want to punish Americans? So that's not a yes no question. Um, it's the answer, frankly, is because he doesn't see anybody beneath him um, as having value or being valid. No, no, no. If you hear no, it's Vanessa talking to the dog. But this is the question: Is does Trump gain some power or pleasure from knowing that everyday Americans are hurting? That's a very sad yes. Does he hate senior citizens, poor people, disabled people, and children? It's not that he hates, it's that you're not a blip on the screen, right? He, um, you're unimportant, those kinds of people, particularly handicapped, disabled people. He's not good with that. Do you remember, like, the first um, time he was in office and he tried to cancel um, the disabled Olympics? That he backed that up real fast. So, but as I say, I don't believe that he hates. Um, and remember this, people say the opposite of love is hate. I think the opposite of love is when you're invalid, when I don't pay attention. That's the opposite. You simply dismiss or ignore because they don't have a space in your life. Anyway, so as I said, I don't believe he hates. I think that he's a lot and he has a lot of basic emotions, but I don't think about this as hate. I think it's um him. Excuse me. The thing is, um, it's not gonna go well because a lot of the people that are getting hurt and hurt big are going to be the very people that voted for him. Will Trump and the GOP be allowed to rewrite history? No. Will the curriculum in schools be changed to what Trump, Musk, and the GOP decide? That's also a no. Okay. Will California Governor Newsom be successful with the trade deal tariffs with Canada? I just heard about this in passing that apparently there's trying to create a trading partner. So that's really interesting. Okay, so will he be successful? Okay, it's a yes, but what I'm hearing is um, it will just take, um, it almost feels like he will be negotiating it almost when it doesn't matter anymore. So there's sort of something that shifts or changes significantly out of the White House. That's kind of my feeling right now. Um, does the USA have anything to look forward to in the future? Well, of course you do. You know, that country of yours is filled with kind and generous people, people who enjoy the simple things in life. And that means their neighbors and their friends. There will always be good that circles around. This is sort of like tornado time, right? And so what we're going to do is just keep calm and carry on. And it's going to be okay. Will Trump's image ever make it to Mount Rushmore? No. Will America remain the land of the free? Okay, that's a yes. Does Trump like being compared to Hitler? We bet yes. Yes. Will MTG and Lauren Boebert remain in Congress? Will they ever learn to keep quiet? Okay, probably no on the second question, but let's just see. MGT, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think. Is she going to remain in Congress for the foreseeable future? Yes. Lauren Boebert, is she going to remain in Congress for the foreseeable future? To know. Will they learn to keep quiet? I don't think so. They are just people who demand constant attention, sort of like somebody who hangs out in the White House. Could that be? So, they will continue to do what they need to do to attract it. And there are some, mega people who think that that's brilliant and lovely, and that's exactly what should happen. Next question is, will anyone ever stand up to Trump? Well, a lot of people are standing up to Trump right now. That's why he's backing down on the tariffs all over the place. I think that better question is anyone in his inner circle going to stand up to Trump? Are we getting to that place? It's a yes. That's really good news. Okay. Will moron Navarro, sorry, lose his job? Right now it looks like a little no. From the other side is the deceased former Attorney General Robert Kennedy, says that his son RFK Jr. is serving in the Trump cabinet. No, he's not pleased at all. He sees Trump for what he is, and he sees that party for what they are. And he sees that his son has no moral compass. He'll just play whatever game is being played on either side. Whoever brings him under the wing, that's the game he plays. So, all right. Yesterday, Trump paused tariffs for 75 countries and raised them on China. Something like 147% tariff on stuff coming from China. Give your head a shake. And raised them on China. In a statement on Truth Social, he said that the 75 countries had not retaliated against the United States. Did this fact have anything to do with the pause? Okay. Let me just sort of fill this in a bit. The answer is that 75 countries didn't not retaliate and didn't push back. Unless you're talking about that island with all the penguins, like a million penguins, I don't know if they could have, got their feelings all the way to, Washington. But anyways, that's who we put tariffs on. Well, I guess that they're not gonna retaliate. There's penguins there, for God's sakes, people. Sorry. There were a couple things. One, he had been looking for an out, like an off ramp. And so this is part of how he's going to do it, right? He's going to just say, oh, they bended the knee. They all came to me. It's not really what happened. No. But you know what? That's his story, right? And he's going to stick to it. But that wasn't the motivating factor. Was the bond market blowing up? Did that have a sort of an impact? Yes, because when the bond market blows up, it's not good. And I guess it was just stuff was just selling like crazy, selling off like crazy. But thank you for being here. Sorry, I've been a little slow today. I think painkillers may be working a bit too well. But thank you for being here. Thank you for the ongoing support, and thank you for the amazing healing energy I know is already on my way. Until next time, take care and be well. Bye bye.